This is a story about a normal middle American family. About two brothers separated by the unimaginable. Such tragedy would force most to run away from what caused their pain. But to do so would be to leave their entire lives behind. On November 16, 2005, Jacob Radosevich watched his big brother Josh get up and go to work. But what happened that day would change their lives forever.
Side hubble the charmer as they reach the top of the stretch. Oh, Nayoka went down there. Hubble the charmer, lost the jockey as well.
In the small farming town of Grove City, Ohio, Jake and Shelley Radosevich lived a normal life. Following in the footsteps of his dad, and his dad before, Jake was a proud farmer and horseman.
In any family, everybody goes to be a lawyer or a doctor, not a horse trainer.
It'd been nice if maybe one would been a vet or, or a horseshoer or something different, but they all wanted to be trainers.
I didn't ever want to try to do anything different, just training horses and taking care of the family and that.
The love of horses also brought Jake Radosevich the love of his life. Shelley, too, was from a training family. Together, they bought a farm in Ohio and raised 3 children, creating a 4th generation in the Radosevich racing legacy. Daughter Jamie was joined by brother Josh. Little brother Jacob came along 4 years later.
They never shared like that they feel that they have to, live up to the family name with me. I mean, I think that they both really want to impress the family and do well and everyone to be proud of them.
We grew up all around it, all of our life, as little kids. We're in the bond.
They just automatically watched and wanted to do it for the most part. Jacob and Josh's relationship, was close. I think they talked a lot more than I ever realized, being brothers and around each other and talking back and forth. So Josh was his hero. He looked up to him.
Josh was born to ride. His dad had taught him to handle a horse by age 6. It was his destiny.
He was up early. You didn't have to wake him up. He wanted to get out there and do it.
I had him working horses out here in my backtrack, and he naturally took the horses around there with no effort. And that's when I knew he had the hands.
He kind of always was galloping and doing stuff, but at that moment he was like, I could do this. I'm going to do this.
And I told Josh, I said, well, you're never ready to ride until you get the crazy horses and gallop nice and relaxed on the racetrack. Then you'll be ready to ride. And within a month or so, he had the crazy ones start galloping alongside me, and it was like effortless for me to ever tell him what to do.
Josh was a natural, and with the blessing of both his parents, he became an apprentice jockey just as soon as he was old enough. He was just 16. Success didn't wait. Josh found the winner's circle in just his 2nd race and won his father's praise.
I thought he was good enough to start riding. Why would I put him on a horse? I mean, I ain't gonna let him sit out there and drive somebody else's car if he ain't gonna drive mine.
I used to be a jockey, and I knew the risks, and I was scared to ride him. It was just because, what if something happens, he's on my horse.
Racing in Ohio rarely brought the riches that jockeys find in the sport's biggest cathedrals. Churchill Downs, Santa Anita, Saratoga. But the risks remain the same. All jockeys ride. Most jockeys get hurt. And some jockeys die.
The Lords of London would insure a motorcycle racer before a jockey.
Some people are just daredevils. They love the sport. They go down 100 times, they still get up and do it. They'll do it until they die.
You don't really think about horses snapping legs off. If they're thinking about getting in a wreck, they're not going to ride good. So they might as well not even ride.
Because they're not a little bit more daredevils to make them decisions and trust their instincts to go in the hole or get out of the hole, and makes them a little bit more cautious. And when you're cautious, you're going to cause accidents. You always got to be cautious, but you can be good and smooth about it.
By the end of October, Josh had won 15 races, a respectable number for a young apprentice. His career was going places, places where the rewards were worth the risks. And to get there, he continued to learn from the one person who had taught him since the beginning.
As a father, you're going to be a coach, and as a coach, you're always going to find faults, if they're good or bad.
It wasn't that he was critiquing him to put him down, but Josh would call, "What do you think, Dad?"
During a race or something, he just asked, critiques what I thought and what could I do different. You know, he took it really serious and had his heart really into it.
November 15th, 2005, Josh traveled to West Virginia's Mountaineer Park. He won his race, providing an exhibition of nearly flawless style. Even his harshest critic was impressed.
And I said I couldn't find one fault that I could ever fault him in. He went out with the pace, head-to-head, and he backed the speed up. They're head-to-head. Him and the horse fought the whole way. You know, and he ends up winning the race by half a side. Kind of touched him and kind of touched me, basically, because I was kind of speechless.
And he said it was like the best night of his life because he went over with a couple of his buddies and they went to Steak and Shake on the way home, and he was just happy about the whole, you know, and he won a big purse. His little head was, you know, big, and he was on top of the world.
The very next day, the 16-year-old did what he had normally done. He got up and got ready for work. It began as a normal day, but before it ended, nothing would ever be normal again.
Josh was at my house that morning. He come over, had breakfast. That was after 10, we're done.
And my mom made him cocoa wheats before he rode races in the afternoon.
And we sat in there and talking, and he said, "Oh, I gotta go ride today." So he said, "I'll see you," and he left. You know, it was just one of those, just another day, him going, you know. He was a good rider. He won like 16 races in a month. He's just starting out, that's good. That was good.
He said, "I loved you that day." And it's like you saying goodbye. It really was.
Usually my family and everybody go watch him ride every day. And for some reason that day, nobody was there, just me.
And they're off. Great start. Absent Miss flies off for the front. Wild Dance in second. Nayoka on the outside in third. Side Hubble the Charmer as they reach the top of the stretch. Oh, Nayoka went down there. Hubble the Charmer lost the jockey as well.
The horse broke its like top of it above the knee. And when he went down, it kind of made him go down, like drove him straight into the ground. Like he'd been better off if the horse threw him high as a telephone pole. And I knew it wasn't good when I seen him went down.
I'm out here working in that barn, and I get a call from Jake. Josh went down. It don't look good. And he had him in his arms. And I said, "Oh, he'll be all right. Don't worry about it." And it wasn't all right.
It was, I could just tell how, by Jeff's voice.
I seen it. Yeah. I'd like to talk about it.
I run out there and I picked him off the track, and I was looking for some kind of, movement, because, in his mouth he had blood in it, and I was looking for some kind of movement, and I just told him, "Oh, Josh, just cowboy up, one more time, just cowboy up," and he was pretty much gone. And I just looked up and I just knew it wasn't good.
My sisters had to pick Jacob up. He just couldn't comprehend what was going on, why he was there, why he got pulled out of school. He never gets taken out of school.
And they kept on saying, "Your brother went down, and he's not all right." And I kept thinking, "Oh, it'll be all right. People go down, and you got a broken bone or something." I got to the hospital, And they kept on saying, hurry, hurry, hurry. And I said, okay, I'm going. And then I got into the hospital, and the first person I saw was my dad. My dad don't cry very often. So I knew something was wrong and bad. That was the first person I went to. And he told me that my brother was dead.
I mean, it was a shock. I never would have believed it. You know, one minute you see him, and the next minute.
That's not how it's supposed to be. You ain't supposed to go before your parents. You know, that's like probably the worst thing, to watch somebody that you raised pass.
For a long time, I couldn't say that he was, you know, he got killed or he was, you know, gone. I would just say he had an accident. I mean, got a helmet and cut flap jacket and boots, and it was just like, I don't know. You know, you're just in a state of shock at that moment then. They told us, you know, you can go back into the room and see him. I couldn't go back right away at first. I just had to get myself together. So then I went back and I could, you know, try and say goodbye.
When I say goodbye to him was on the racetrack when I held him in my arms. He's pretty good gone. I pulled his scarf off of his mouth, and it was just still as can be. I remember I looked up at the gods and said, I cussed at him a while. Why me? And I knew it wasn't good. When you lose someone, I think that God puts a shelter around you for a while until you're, you know, strong enough to come to grips with reality. And, you know, the world goes on, but your little world is kind of stuck in place. I took a little bit of time off from the horses. You do have to go on and having the kids and having to do stuff probably helps you to move on in some senses of it.
I don't know to this day how Jake got through it. They worked hand and foot, you know, next to each other.
Jake, he kept digging right back into it. That was his way of venting, working.
He bit the bullet. You could tell it bothered him, but he bit the bullet and went right on.
Well, you just get up and you kind of do what you always know you had to do. Maybe not as happy about doing it, but you know, you try your best to survive, basically. It's a surviving game. I mean, people think it's easy. You know, it ain't easy. I mean, you lost your kid. You lose that drive. You know, I got passion for the horses. You lose the drive.
I really didn't have no emotion. I didn't cry. I didn't know what to do. I just was in shock, really. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't trust nobody. I only trusted him. That's the only person I wanted to talk to. Because I could go to him for anything. I was getting pretty rough there for a second. You know, there was times where I thought, I don't even want to be in this world anymore. You know, I just want to go and be with my brother.
Jacob was consumed by unescapable darkness. The only comfort he found was sitting alone, staring at a TV, watching the accident that killed his big brother over and over again.
I just wanted to see it one more time. And just kept on watching it and wondering, and just, there was a lot to it. And I just kept on wondering how, and what was going on about this. And just kind of, I guess I wanted to see my brother one more time, right? And that was the last race, so I just kept on watching it.
Somehow, some way, the images from the flickering screen eventually seared into Jacob's mind, touched his heart, and rekindled his soul. He couldn't resurrect Josh's life, but he could save his own.
I just had to wake up and, you know, smell the roses, because he wouldn't be happy if I did that. Because I wouldn't pursue my dream. And, you know, if I pursue my dream, I could bring him along with me.
The thought of Jacob becoming a jockey shook his parents to their core. Horse racing is the family business, but it had already claimed their oldest son. As much as they supported Josh, they fought just as much to keep their youngest son from following in his footsteps.
I don't know if my dad knew right off exactly if I wanted that and stuff, but I always talked to my mom about it. Jacob
would always kind of quietly say it to me, you know, oh, I'm gonna ride, and I would be like, oh, Jacob, just be quiet.
And I always told her, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make it.
He wanted to when he turned 16, and we were like, no, you have to wait.
Maybe it's a phase, maybe you'll grow out of it, and I think you're too heavy.
We didn't want to take a chance of letting him get hurt at 16. You just don't know what's going to happen in this life, so we just figured it's best to wait.
My family did support me. They kind of were like iffy about it.
It's his own choice and his own decisions, and I can't sit there and tell him I don't want to see you ride, and he'll hate me more doing that and fighting against him than saying, here, I'll help you out and support you as best I can.
Nearly 6 years after a racing accident killed his brother, apprentice jockey Jacob Radosevich climbed into the saddle to ride in his first race. It was at Beulah Park, the same track where Josh rode his last race. Jacob was now 18, 2 years older than Josh was when he died.
What was he going through when that boy rode his first race? I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
The first race I rode at Beulah, and you know, I was really nervous. I had a lot of butterflies. And I thought, you know what? I made it. And I was really, all I could think about was, I told all these people I would do it, and I did it. And just to ride my first race was an accomplishment. So I set another goal from there. I said, I want to go big. I don't want to do nothing at all.
The brothers' goals were the same, as were their initials, as are most of the family carrying on their racing legacy. But the similarities of these two are more than superficial. They are twins on a horse.
Well, when you first started riding, like, their similarities, they were patient. Neither one of them looked like bug riders. Their style and their shape and their form looked, you know, like a journeyman. Jacob now, more that he's been riding at Charlestown, he's getting stronger and he's getting his push down.
The bug always does good here at Charlestown. Usually if you can find yourself a good bug boy, then you have the opportunity to make a lot of money. I enjoy Benton Oak Lawn Park, and I noticed a bug boy out there named Jacob Radosevich. So I said, I'm gonna sit here and watch a few races, watch him ride, see what he looks like. So I watched the kid ride. He had a great seat on the horse, looked good, finished good. I said, man, it would be nice to have somebody like that here at Charlestown.
You know, I have fun, I enjoy it. I enjoy watching him and watch my own horses run. Because I got like a part of me out there with him, you know what I mean? And that's rewarding.
I think waiting helped him just to maybe mentally and physically prepare himself for it, to get his body in shape and his weight and down where it needed to be for his bug.
I think he just rides right now to make a living that he knows he can make and support his family. You know, he'll be fine if he just listens to people that's been there, done it.
I'm confident, you know, that I can do really good as a rider. But you get your downs, you're always gonna have the horses that don't win and run second and third, but you just have fun on them ones and practice a little bit more to get better, really.
There's nothing more in the world I would rather see than this kid be very successful, his name to be in the big lights. I know that's what he's striving for, and as long as he works hard every day and is pushing for it, I'm gonna push right with him.
This is what I know. This is what I love. And this is my job. And if you love it enough, you're gonna go to the moon.
And while he reaches for the moon, he does so for two. The bond between brothers is for now separated by destiny, but it will never be broken.
Jacob, as I know him, probably started grieving maybe when he went to Oakland Park in February of this year. It probably hit him all at once.
All the way up until this year, I've never cried about it. And never, just never really grieved about it. But I understand it now. And now that I understand it, it finally hit me. And this year, I broke down bad. Just riding and actually knowing I made it and stuff. And I know my brother was there. It really got to me. And it makes me happy to talk about it and be able to keep its, spirit alive. And that's enough.
I believe Jacob really loves and enjoys riding, but his main motivation probably was to fulfill his dream of riding with his brother.
We always told each other we were going to be in the same races and riding against each other. And I looked forward to that. And for that not to happen, it breaks my heart.
16 years of being with him every day is a memory, and it'll be locked in the rest of my life. You know, a piece of my heart went, and it'll always be gone. And, and he won't be forgotten.
When he's out there, I think he feels like his brother helps guide him with the reins, and he's even said before, I didn't guide that horse. I think Josh took over the reins.
I really do believe sometimes it's real. And there's another horse next to me with him on it. And that hurts, it's cool. And it makes me happy to think that, he's beside me. It makes me ride a little harder.